Welcome to Volunteer Tracker. Today I'm signed in as a volunteer administrator and we are going to look at the All Volunteers page. So this is where you can see all of your volunteers no matter what status they are in. There are a lot of filtering and searching options here. You can search by status, so that's going to be what we're talking about today, that approved, denied, pending, pending renewal. You can search by their star rating. This is, how many hours they've put in and whether they are a, 5-star volunteer or a 1-star volunteer, and that'll show on their profile whether they are an employee. These two are custom checkboxes that you can create in the configuration settings for your volunteer tracker. You can search by location, so when they fill out their volunteer application, which location they've chosen as where they want to volunteer. You can search by gender, whether they are under the age of 18, their activity and class levels, so what activities they're interested in, what class level of volunteer they are designated as, and then you can also search by partial last name. So if I type in just a part of their last name, it will pull up any last name that contains the letters DO. And then lastly, if you know their email, you can search by their email as well. So this search filter bar at the top, if you've got a lot of volunteers, is going to really help narrow down to the ones that you're looking for. So you're not looking at this massive list of volunteers trying to put together which ones you need to look at or get in contact with. Today, we're just going to focus on the different type of approval statuses that we have. So up here in the filter search bar, if I go to status, you can see we've got approved volunteers. These are volunteers that have submitted an application and that has been approved. We've got denied volunteers. These are volunteers that have submitted an application and for whatever reason that application was not approved, whether that's, their criminal background check didn't go through, whatever reason that may be based on your organization. We've got pending. These are volunteers that have submitted an application and it is in review. It hasn't been approved yet. And then we have pending renewal. These are volunteers who have applied previously and were approved, but now their background check has expired and they need to renew their application. We're going to go ahead and take a look at our approved volunteers. So we're going to select approved in the status bar and then hit filter search. And so these are our approved volunteers. So we can see here, this Marcy Davis, she has an indicator saying that she is under 18. So when a volunteer applies to volunteer, if their birth date makes them under 18, their profile will get this under 18 label. You can see over here that she is approved for level 2, and then you can see where her background date expires. So it expires in January of 2021. These two options down here, these are custom checkboxes. You can set these up in the configurations table of your volunteer tracker, and they are really great for kind of custom reporting, really whatever you need to check off that isn't already built into the volunteer tracker system. Now let's go ahead and take a look at our denied volunteers. So your organization may have a different background check interface set up. Currently in our demonstration version of Volunteer Tracker, we have a manual background check process set up. So if you're not using a JD Palatine or a BIB, this is probably what you'll have. But it'll probably look different for you if you are using that JD Palatine or BIB interface. So we're going to go ahead and filter for our denied volunteers, and we can see here we just have this one. If we open up their profile and scroll down to the background check area for this volunteer, you can see we've got comments under each section. So with the manual, if you deny their background check for any reason and you need to put comments, you can do that. And so now let's go ahead and take a look at our pending volunteers. So once again, these are volunteers that have submitted an application, but it is still pending. It hasn't been approved. You haven't had a chance to take a look at it. You're waiting to hear back about their background check. And so you can see here, we've got another under 18 volunteer who's pending. We have an employee. So there is a section in the volunteer application where if they are an employee, they can check that they are and they will get this label within their profile. And then once again, you can see what level they are pending for. So all of these, it looks like, are pending for level 3, which means that they are all going to need a background check with how our demonstration volunteer tracker is set up. Your organization may have different requirements for that. And then last, we have our pending renewal volunteers. So these are volunteers that were approved previously, but their background check has expired, and they will get a red expired once their background check has expired. They will need to go through the process of resubmitting their application and having that background check resubmitted as well. There are custom settings within the volunteer tracker for how long they'll sit in this pending renewal state before they will have to completely reapply, before they'll get kicked out of the system. And so let me show you where that is. We're going to go to the home page, and then we're going to go to the tables and settings. And then under configuration, if you scroll down to the very bottom, application renewal retainment options, you can set how many days they will remain in renewal status before they will get deleted. And so that's just a really great way for you to keep your list of volunteers clean and organized and really easy to look at. So that is everything about the All Volunteers page. There's a lot of great information here. You can really get a good look at what volunteers you have in your system, how many pending, how many denied, how many approved. So there's a lot of information for you here as a volunteer administrator.